Psalm 120, 5 through 7. Woe to me, that I sojourn in Meshech, that I dwell among the tents of Kedar. Too long have I had my dwelling among those who hate peace. I'm for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. Now the psalm ends on a bit of a downer note. Woe unto me is a nice old-time way of saying that life bites right now. The particular woe here that the author seemingly personifying Israel in a sojourning time, and maybe it's the time of exile. They're away from the land that God had promised to their ancestors, their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And therefore, they're far away from the central location where Israel was called to worship. I noted earlier that the doors of many, many churches were closed last Sunday. And although many folks were able to hear exhortations and sermons online, it's simply not the same as the normatively prescribed gathering together of Christ Church for worship. For some, disconnection from healthy, godly human community had already become something of a pattern in their lives. But right now, almost everybody is more disconnected than they usually might be. This is sobering. This ought to call us to plead with God for repentance, restoration, and renewal. Now, Meshech and Kedar, they seem to have been in different locations outside of Israel. So this might indicate that Israel as a whole is intended by this psalm. I routinely minister to inmates, many of whom God has been very gracious to call out of the ordinary sinful routine of their pre-incarceration lifestyle. For many, it serves as a wake-up call. I can't count the number of times I've heard an inmate tell me, I don't belong in jail. I'm not like these other guys here. And many times I've had guys come back and acknowledge to me they were wrong. God was actually gracious to bring them to this place of discipline, that they deserve discipline as much as any other man that they might meet in jail. In times like this, when we wake up and realize this isn't really where we want to be, this is not how we wanted life to become, to be. We want peace. We want stability. When we find ourselves surrounded by turmoil, by conflict, we really ought to humbly evaluate whether we didn't contribute quite a bit to how we got here through our sin, and plead for God's mercy. We want to make sure we're not too quick to pull the "I'm just like Job" card. This psalm clearly ends negatively, but that's not how the story ends. God willing, in the next video we'll look at how he calls us out of our troubles and sins, and more importantly, where he calls us to go and what he calls us to do. Until next time, grace be with you.